Coach's forbidden training camp with 3 alien teens goes way too far. The impossible assignment. The transport shuttle descended through Meridius 7's perpetual mist, and Dr. Kian Voss pressed his forehead against the viewport, watching 3 moons chase each other across an indigo sky. 6 months ago, he'd been reconstructing shattered bones in a civilian hospital. Now, he was apparently qualified to train alien royalty for gladiatorial trials that would decide an empire's future. "Your reputation precedes you, Doctor." The holographic liaison flickered beside him. 3 years in combat zones, specialized in impossible recoveries. That's exactly what the Lumine Conclave needs. Kian didn't mention that he'd left fieldwork because he couldn't save everyone. Some broken things stayed broken. The compound materialized through the fog, crystalline structures woven between ancient mangrove analogs, their roots submerged in water that glowed with native plankton. 3 figures stood at the landing platform, and Kian's breath caught. They were identical in feature: sharp cheekbones, eyes like cut gemstones, hair that moved as though underwater even in still air. But each radiated a different spectrum of light. The leftmost shimmered violet, intense and crackling. The center figure glowed liquid silver, calm and measuring. The rightmost pulsed warm amber, soft as evening light. "The Lumine Trinity," his liaison whispered. "Keva, Lethus, and Rihanna. Touch them and your skin will blister away." Kian descended the ramp, med bag over one shoulder. Up close, their luminescence created shadows that moved independently of their bodies. Beautiful, lethal, completely untouchable. "You're the human who's supposed to make us warriors?" Keva's voice carried an accent that turned consonants into music. Her violet aura pulsed brighter, skeptical. "He doesn't fear us." Lithus tilted her head, silver light pooling at her feet. "He should," Rihanna added quietly, amber radiance dimming with something like regret. "Everyone does." Kian set down his bag and stood at attention, addressing all 3. "I've spent years handling things that could kill me. You glow. I've survived worse." He paused, then added more gently, "And I've read your medical files, your synchronized physiology, the shared nervous system. You're not 3 separate people. You're a constellation. Training you means understanding that." For the first time, all 3 auras brightened simultaneously. "When do we begin?" Keva asked. "Sunrise. Bring your pain tolerance. We'll need it."
Breaking through barriers. The first 2 weeks were agony. For everyone. Kian demonstrated exercises through holographic avatars, while the sisters struggled to mimic movements their bodies had never been trained to perform. Every correction required shouting across distance, every adjustment made through projected light grids that showed proper form but couldn't guide muscle memory. "Your center of gravity is too high, Kaeva," Kian called as she attempted the obstacle course for the 7th time. "Drop your hips, drive through your core." She stumbled, and instinctively he reached out. His palm met her shoulder for half a second before violet light seared across his skin like acid. He jerked back, biting down a curse. All 3 sisters froze, their auras dimmed to nearly nothing. "I'm fine," Kian said quickly, wrapping his hand. "My fault, I forgot." "No one ever forgets," Lithis said quietly, silver light barely visible. "People remember we burn. That's why we've never had a real trainer. Never had anyone." That night, Kian treated his blistered palm and made a decision. The next morning, he started differently. "Today, we try something new," he announced at dawn. "Guided meditation first, then breath work, then movement." They sat in a circle on the training platform, water lapping beneath crystal flooring. Kian kept his voice low, rhythmic. "Close your eyes. Feel your heartbeats. I know you can sense each other's. Now extend that awareness outward. I'm not a threat. I'm another rhythm in the pattern." Minutes stretched. Then Rihanna's amber glow began pulsing in time with his breathing. Silver joined it. Finally violet. "Good," Kian murmured, Now we build trust. Over the following weeks, something shifted. The aura stopped flaring defensively when he approached. During balance drills, Kaeva's violet light would reach toward him like curious fingers, testing, retreating, testing again. Lithis began explaining their biology during rest periods, her silver radiance calm as moonlight, while she described how Luminae evolved photonic defenses against predators. "But you're not predators anymore," Kayan observed one evening, sitting across from all three in the compound's observation dome, stars reflected in the water below, doubling the universe. "We're prey now," Rihanna said softly, amber light dimming. "Our world is gone, our family dead. 3 survivors hunted by those who want the throne or want us eliminated entirely." Kayan met each of their gazes in turn. "Then we make you dangerous enough that hunting you becomes suicide." Kaeva laughed, the first real laughter he'd heard from any of them. Her violet aura blazed bright, then settled into something warmer. "You're very confident for someone we could cook alive. Try it." Kayan challenged, holding out his hand palm up. The silence stretched. Then Kaeva reached forward, moving slowly, violet light concentrating around her fingertips. She touched his palm. It didn't burn. Her aura had modulated, syncing with his biorhythm so perfectly that the photonic energy simply flowed around him. Warm, not scorching. Electric, not painful. Lithis and Rihanna watched with wide eyes as Kaeva traced the lines of his palm, violet light following her touch like ink in water. "How?" Rihanna breathed. "Trust," Kayan said simply, not pulling away even as his heart hammered. "You stopped seeing me as a threat. Your body followed your mind." That night, training became touch. A hand steadying Lithis through a difficult landing, silver light cool across his forearm. Rihanna's healing energy mending his perpetual training injuries, amber warmth seeping into tired muscles. Kaeva's fierce embraces after each completed challenge, violet fire that no longer burned but energized. The boundary between coach and student blurred, then dissolved entirely. The storm that changed everything. The storm hit on day 37, 3 weeks before the succession trials. Kian woke to alarm shrieking through the compound and water already flooding the ground level. Through his window, he saw the ocean trying to reclaim the moon, waves towering like mountains in the lightning flash dark. He sprinted to the sisters' quarters, finding them huddled together in the central chamber, their combined auras flickering erratically. All 3 were shaking. "The temperature dropped 15 degrees in an hour," Lithis gasped, silver light stuttering like a dying lamp. "Our thermoregulation, it's linked to our photonic output. We're going into shock," Kian finished, already assessing. Their synchronized biology meant if one started failing, all 3 would cascade. Their skin had taken on a translucent quality, revealing the bioluminescent veins beneath. The backup generators failed. Emergency lighting died. Only the sisters' fading auras provided illumination. The equipment shelter, Kian decided, pulling emergency thermal blankets from storage. It's built into the hill, above flood level. Move, now. They ran through knee-deep water that kept rising, Kian supporting Rihanna when she stumbled. The shelter was small, designed for gear storage, not habitation, but it was dry and relatively warm. Barely enough space for 4 people if they pressed close. He sealed the door as another wave hammered the compound. Inside, the sisters collapsed against each other, their trinity of light growing dimmer by the second. "We need heat," Kaeva whispered, through chattering teeth. "Sustained biological warmth, photonic feedback. Without it, you'll slip into hibernation and might not wake up." Kian remembered the medical files. "I know." Rihanna's amber glow was almost gone. "No human can provide enough sustained contact. Your skin can't handle prolonged exposure to our energy output, even modulated." "Let me worry about that." Kian stripped off his soaked thermal shirt and sat against the back wall. "Come here, all of you." They hesitated only a moment before survival instinct overrode propriety. Lithis settled against his left side, Rihanna against his right, and Keva across his lap with her head against his shoulder. Their combined weight pressed him back, and their fading auras began to concentrate, seeking the core heat of his body. It was intense. 3 different wavelengths of photonic energy flowing across his skin: violet passion, silver intellect, and amber compassion. Separately, they'd learned to touch him safely. Together, in desperation, their outputs amplified each other. Kian gritted his teeth as the energy sank deeper than skin, penetrating muscle, reaching toward bone. His heartbeat thundered in his ears, accelerating, trying to compensate for their failing systems. Then, something extraordinary happened. Their 3 heartbeats, usually synchronized with each other, began matching his instead. 1 rhythm became 4, 4 became 1. His chest felt like it was being rewritten at a cellular level, as their combined photonic energy spiraled inward, seeking his heart like a compass seeking north. "Kian!" Lythis gasped, silver light suddenly blazing back to life. "The triad resonance! It's activating!" "Impossible," Rihanna whispered, amber radiance flaring back to life. "That's a myth. No external life force has ever—" "Myth or not, it's happening," Keva said. Violet fire racing across Kian's shoulders, his chest, spiraling down his arms. Not burning. Bonding. The pain peaked, then transformed into something entirely different. Euphoria. Completion. Like finding pieces of himself he'd never known were missing. When the light finally settled, 3 luminous marks remained permanently etched across Kian's chest: violet, silver, and amber, intertwined in a pattern that pulsed with his heartbeat. Their heartbeat, the rhythm that now sustained all 4 of them. Outside, the storm still raged. Inside the shelter, 4 bodies breathed as one, hearts synchronized in a bond that would last until death, and possibly beyond. "What have we done?" Lythis whispered. Kian looked down at the 3 faces pressed against him, at the impossible marks glowing on his skin, and answered with absolute certainty. "We survived."
Training becomes devotion. The triad resonance changed everything. Kian woke the morning after the storm with 3 sleeping forms still wrapped around him and a chest that glowed like stained glass. When he shifted, all 3 sisters stirred simultaneously, their eyes opening in perfect unison. "I can feel you," Rihanna whispered, amber light pulsing gently across his ribs. "Not just proximity, your emotions, your everything." It was true. Kian could sense them now. Kayeva's fierce determination bleeding into his thoughts, Lythis's analytical calm steadying his usual anxiety, Rihanna's gentle compassion softening edges he'd kept sharp for years. The connection flowed both directions, intimate beyond anything physical. Training transformed. With the resonance active, Kian could anticipate their movements before they made them, adjust his coaching in real time as he felt their muscles strain or their focus waver. They could sense his approval, his concern, his pride without words. But it went deeper than technique. One evening, as twin moons rose over Meridia 7's bioluminescent tide pools, Lythis found him reviewing trial footage. She sat beside him, close enough that silver light spilled across his tablet screen. "You're afraid," she said quietly. Not a question. She could feel it through the bond. "The trials are 3 weeks away. If even one of you fails—" "We won't." Her hand covered his, cool energy flowing between them. "Not because we have you, we have you." She leaned in slowly, giving him time to retreat. He didn't. When their lips met, silver light exploded across his vision, her emotions flooding through the resonance, loneliness finally ending, desire long suppressed, gratitude for being seen as more than untouchable royalty. They broke apart breathless, and Kian found Kayeva and Rihanna watching from the doorway, their auras bright with emotions that mirrored Lythis's exactly. "This is dangerous," Kian managed, even as violet and amber light joined silver around him. "I'm supposed to be your trainer, not what?" Kaeva challenged, moving closer. Not the person whose light beat literally sustains us? Not the first being to touch us without fear? She cupped his face, violet fire dancing harmlessly across his jaw. The resonance doesn't lie, Kayan. We feel what you feel. You want this as much as we do. He couldn't deny it. Not with 3 sets of emotions tangled with his own, all of them yearning for connection that went beyond survival. Rihanna completed their circle, amber warmth settling over his shoulders like a benediction. In Luminate tradition, resonance bonds are considered sacred marriages. 4 souls, 1 heartbeat. We didn't plan this, but she smiled, radiant and hopeful. Maybe we were always meant to find each other. That night, under stars that belonged to neither human nor Lumine worlds, Kayan let himself fall completely into the bond. Kaeva's passionate intensity, Lythas's intellectual devotion, Rihanna's tender healing, all of it wove through him as he learned their bodies with hands that no longer feared burning. The resonance amplified everything. When he kissed Kaeva, Lythas and Rihanna felt the echo of it. When Rihanna's healing energy mended old scars on his back, all 4 of them sighed in relief. They moved together like water, like light, like the synchronized constellation they'd always been, now with him as their fixed star. Dawn found them tangled on the observation deck, 4 heartbeats thundering in perfect unity, marks on his chest blazing so brightly they illuminated the entire compound. Training continued, but now every session ended with stolen moments. Lythas teaching him their ancient language while violet and amber light played across the walls. Rihanna singing healing songs that made the resonance hum in his bones. Kaeva challenging him to races along the beach where they'd collapse laughing in the surf. The trials approached, but Kayan stopped worrying. However the succession contest ended, they'd already won something far more valuable. They'd found home in each other.
Choosing love over crowns. The Imperial succession trials took place in an arena that floated above Meridia 7, broadcast to 17 worlds. Kian watched from the trainer's observation pod as Kaeva, Lythas, and Rihanna faced challenges designed to break individuals, and discovered their unity made them unstoppable. Through the resonance, he felt every surge of adrenaline, every moment of doubt transformed into determination. When Kaeva faced combat trials, Lythas's strategy guided her strikes. When Lythas solved impossible puzzles, Rihanna's intuition revealed hidden patterns. When Rihanna endured pain tolerance tests, Kaeva's fierce will kept her standing. And through it all, Kian's heartbeat anchored them, steady, certain, sustaining. They didn't just pass, they dominated. The final trial required each sister to make a choice: accept the throne individually, breaking the Trinity, or refuse and face exile. The conclave expected competition. They got unified rebellion. "We refuse," Kaeva announced, violet aura blazing defiance across every broadcast screen. All of us, simultaneously. The arena erupted in chaos. The conclave elders demanded explanations. Lythas stepped forward, silver light calm amid the uproar. "Our species evolved the triad residence as myth, as impossible legend. We've proven it real. We've bonded with a being from another world, creating something unprecedented, a bridge between species, between worlds." Rihanna concluded, amber radiance warming the entire arena. "You wanted us to compete for a crown. We choose something greater. We choose the family we've built, the love we've found, the impossible made real." The marks on Kian's chest burned bright enough that he had to leave the observation pod, descending to the arena floor. The crowd fell silent as he approached his 3 bonded souls, their auras reaching for him like flowers seeking sun. "You're choosing exile," he said quietly, though the resonance meant they already knew his thoughts. "Permanent separation from your people? From everything you knew?" "We're choosing you," Kaeva corrected, taking his hand. "We're choosing us." "The throne is just power," Lythas added. her fingers intertwining with his. This is connection, purpose, home. Rihanna completed their circle, 4 hands clasped, 4 heartbeats synchronized. We were dying alone before you. Now we're alive together. That's worth more than any empire. The conclave had no choice but to grant the exile. 3 days later, a small ship departed the arena. Destination, Meridia 7, permanent residence. Years passed. The Lumine Empire found new rulers. Galactic politics shifted and changed. But on a remote oceanic moon, 4 souls built something that transcended kingdoms. Traders passing Meridia 7 reported strange sightings. 3 glowing figures and 1 human running beaches at dawn, their laughter carrying across bioluminescent waves. 4 bodies moving in perfect synchronization, violet silver amber light spiraling around a human heart that beat for all of them. The impossible had become their forever. Kian never missed his old life. How could he, when every heartbeat reminded him he'd found something beyond medicine, beyond duty? He'd found family in the spaces between stars, 3 souls that had been untouchable until they had touched him and discovered they were never meant to be separate at all. Some nights, wrapped in light and love and the quantum certainty of the resonance, Kian would trace the glowing marks on his chest and marvel at the beautiful accident that had become his destiny. 4 heartbeats, 1 constellation, infinite devotion. Home. Lessons. True strength is found not in individual achievement, but in the courage to choose connection over competition, love over power, and family over crowns. The most profound bonds form when we risk vulnerability with those who seem impossibly different, discovering that trust transforms what burns into what heals. Home is not a place or a throne, but the hearts that beat in rhythm with your own, the souls who choose you when the world offers you everything else. Sometimes the most revolutionary act is refusing to break what already works perfectly together, honoring unity over ambition, and building something new rather than claiming something old.